Published experts.
The right side of
Okay.
published.
So Google Scholar and all those that are found here are intended only for published experts. Okay. Everybody say this. It is dangerous.
It is dangerous.
To anchor your study only on published experts
Only on published experts.
because they
They
are so far away
are so far away
and remotely connected
and remotely
in the
connected.
area of my study. So probably your experts have never been to Cambodia, so right? Okay, so you need to have a balance of practitioner experts and then scholarly experts. You need to have both of them together in your research. Alright, so here, who are the possible practitioner experts of your study? Alright, so one is here in Phnom Penh. Alright, so can you type Phnom Penh? Okay. And then, for example, you're working on a reading study. So, reading expert. Okay. Reading expert. Alright. Cambodia lacks reading culture experts. Say. Alright. And then, this goes more. So it's difficult to find, right? Okay. Where is a better way to do that? To find the reading expert. Okay. Where are the reading centers? Where are the reading associations? Okay, for example, can you type in Reading Association of Cambodia? Uh, is there?
Room to read yan. SIPA Association. Yan.
SIPAR.
Association.
Oh, yes. Okay. So can you go to SIPAR? Okay. Yan. Reading and learning. Okay, so by looking at more about us, can you take this one? Who we are. So probably the people who are here are considered to be the members, are considered to be the reading experts of Cambodia. Then you connect with them and then you ask. Okay. Other is those who are teaching in the field. I had this experience where we had a dissertation on the use of mother tongue instruction. So it was a PhD dissertation on the use of mother tongue. Mother tongue meaning, okay, the language of birth of the students. So in the Philippines, grades 1, 2, and 3 are taught in the native dialect. Yes, yes. Now, when we organized the panel, not one of us were actually doing a study on the mother tongue. So we were not the experts. And so I asked, find teachers of mother tongue instruction who are rated to be very good in their performance. Second, who are the principals who are supervising the mother tongue teachers? And then find them. And then you ask them about your study, you ask them about their problems, you ask them about their successes and failures, and then you directly connect with them because they are the real experts in the field. So everybody say this. Practitioner experts need not be doctors. They are the ones who actually perform the daily tasks. Okay. I sat down in an MBA thesis, MBA, Master of Business Administration, and it was a study about the feasibility of putting up a laundry shop. Because at that time in my city, there was no laundry shop using machines. Because we were hiring human clothes washers. Okay. Now, we were all PhDs sitting in a thesis about laundry shop. We did not know about laundry shop. And so, what we did was ask him to find a laundry shop operator, meaning an owner of a business of a laundry shop. He got one in Cebu City, so he had to fly to be able to give him the information. Now, during the oral defense, this is what was exciting. We did not know whether the project is intended to be more successful because we were not having direct experience with laundry shop. And the one who came was a college graduate, did not have a master's, did not have a PhD, but then he said, you cannot use this brand of Shein because when this is destroyed, there are no spare parts, and then you have to get this from Germany, and then it takes 6 months, and then and then he gave so much input that all of us were amazed. And we were so thankful, if not of him, we would not really know how to put up a good business. Then he even said, why don't you have a big tank of water? So, why? Why a tank? Because if there is no water on that day, so your business will close. Then the third question he had was, where is your preparation for the generator? Because if there is no electricity on a particular day, then your business will be losing. And those things we did not project, we did not see, but he was able to see because he was a practitioner of the field. So you get that point? Go, practitioners, give us direct knowledge, information, and learning about our proposed topic. Okay, so practitioners plus the scholar experts together, they will be able to help you. Okay. Now, after this, I'd like to introduce to you the concept of idea. Can you write this? Okay. In proposal writing, we need to interview our stakeholders. We need to interview our stakeholders. Okay. Why? So that they can help testify the existence of your problem. They can help testify the existence of your problem. The question is, who are the stakeholders? Okay. So in education, because we are all in education, right? We are in the business of schools. So the first one is called regulatory. Regulatory stakeholders. In the Philippines, we call them the Department of Education, the Commission on Higher Education. How do you call it here? The regulatory body for, do you call it the Ministry of Education? Yeah, it's the board, yeah.
Ministry of Education is new.
Okay, so it's actually a ministry. And then that is the one that oversees whether you're doing right, you're doing wrong, and then, penalizes you if you are not doing things right. We call it regulatory. Okay, they are needed as stakeholders, right? Okay, what's the second one? The parents, right? Okay, the learners. Okay, the community folks. They are the end users of your educational system. So who are they? The regulatory bodies, like the ministry, and then you have the parents, and then the learners, the teachers, and then the administrators, and the local community. Because there are officials in the local community. Where the school is located, there is a community, and there is a local government there. They are what do we call that? Stakeholders. And so, we need to do an interview with them on the presence of the problem. So if your problem, for example, is about reading, so you ask the parents. Can everybody say this though? As parents, do you believe that your children in this school can read well without problems? Now if they will answer, no, my My son, my daughter has a great deal of problems in reading, he cannot understand. So there is a testimony that the problem is real. Right? What about the teachers? Do you have difficulties in teaching reading? The answer is yes. Why? So they will have to have a testimony. What about the principals? Yes, in fact, we have a reading program for the school. All right. And then what about the ministry? We are not meeting the international standard for reading abilities of students. And so these different stakeholders who will provide a testimony will form part of your introduction to the study. Okay? Can anybody say this? The first part of the research is the introduction. Part of the introduction is the weaving together of the testimonies of the stakeholders to prove that your problem actually exists and deserves attention and deserves a solution. Okay, so my pedagogy is that you need to meet these stakeholders at least 3 times. How many times? 3. The first one is when you write the proposal so that you would already know whether there is indeed a problem or there isn't. So that's the first one, the writing of the proposal. Okay. And then the second one is when you actually collect the data. Okay. Because your stakeholders will be your data providers. Right? They will answer questionnaires, they will answer the interviews. Okay, what's the second one? Collection of data. Alright, either by interview or by, yes, by questionnaires. Okay, what about the third one? Can anybody say this? Go. When my data are summarized as tables, I cannot write immediately my analysis and interpretation. Okay, because that is what is a gross mistake of researchers. That when the data is there and then you would like to see what sense are you making from your data and then you write immediately the analysis. That is not right. You will have to go back to your people and then you tell them, these are the data of your reading abilities. In your experience, do you agree with this? Is this the reality? If the answer is yes, then why? If the answer is no, then why? And then you can ask them, do you think we have a problem for reading? Yes, we have a problem for reading. Do you think this needs solution? Yes, we need a solution. What do you think is a solution? So you can ask each one of these people to give solutions. And then you collect their ideas, and then you consider that later. Okay? And then why do you think is the situation having here? Why are parents experiencing the difficulty of their children to read? Why learners are having difficulty in reading? So their answers will now form part of your explanation. Okay, so can you give me your 2 index fingers, please? Go. Okay. My brain has so much information stored for many years. I can explain, even without a questionnaire, why I have a problem in my study. But I cannot write what I know. Because what I know has no bibliography. You cannot write what you know, because what you know has no bibliography. You have no according to. That is why you need to interview to explain your data. Get that point? So you need to go back the third time to get their explanation of why you have those problems, plus their proposed solutions on the problems that were discovered in the study. Okay, so these 3 stages are important because you are now trying to bring in the reality of the stakeholders against your data. Because, can everybody say this? If my data will not be acceptable by my stakeholders, whatever suggestions I will make, they will never follow. Why? Precisely because they are not able to accept your data. That is why when solutions are needed, they also need to give solutions because part of your recommendation comes from them. But I would like to caution you a very important mistake of most researchers. Can everybody say this? Go. I am writing this research. I am called a thesis writer. Right? You are called a thesis writer, right? Okay, when you do your thesis, right? Become a thesis writer. The point is, go, I am never qualified to give recommendations because I am not an expert. I have no publication. I have no practice. Therefore, I cannot give a recommendation. Oh, that's right. So that is the mistake. That is the mistake. When researchers write their recommendation. So I would like to show to you how to, okay. Alright. So, I'll give an example. Can you open a new tab? Okay. Then put please type here. Best practices. Okay. In teaching reading. In high school. Best practices in teaching reading in high school. Okay. So you open. Alright. So what are they? Best practices. Can you scroll down? Best practices, best practices, best practices, best practices. What do you think are these? Okay. Can everybody say this go? Best practices.
Best practices
Are tested strategies that generated excellent results. So if you read the best practices, from there you can already derive what could possibly be a good solution to a reading problem. Okay? So our recommendations will be something like, go, in view, can you say that? In view of the poor reading skills of high school students, and in consideration okay, of the best practices of reading experts, comma, the following are recommended. So example, you can get one idea or two here, one and two. Another idea from here, another idea from here. Alright, so that if I'll ask you this question, where did your ideas come from? They come from the experts. Okay. They cannot come from you because you are not reading experts yet. Get the point? Because even in my country, thesis and dissertation writers are the only ones who thought about recommendations, including their advisors. But both of them are not considered experts. They don't have publication for the topic. They are not practitioners of the topic, and therefore, what they say may not be correct. Alright? So, everybody say this go. Be careful when you recommend. Because when there is no basis from evidence, and if they go wrong, then the people will be badly affected. And that is your unethical practice. That's right. So, I don't know with the case of Cambodia, but in my country, we have a growing problem of suicide in schools. We have a growing problem of suicide of teachers. Okay, there are plenty of teachers who kill themselves in active duty because they felt like teaching is so difficult to do, burdensome, and they cannot meet the requirements of reports and performances, and so they just kill themselves. There are plenty of them already, including students. They would jump on the fourth floor of the malls, the more famous ones, then they kill themselves. Okay. So if we do a study on phenomenon of suicide in schools, suicide involving students, suicide involving teachers, then who could be our practitioner experts? They must be psychiatrists who study the mind with mental problems, or they could be clinical psychologists, right? Or guidance counselors, all right? Because they are the ones who study this phenomenon. So meaning, when you have the data about suicide already, like the suicidal notes, you will show that to the psychologist. What is your interpretation of this note? You will give that to the psychiatrist, and they will be the ones who will give you the proper interpretation of the meaning of their suicide notes. Okay. Like for example, people who commit suicide are never known by their families. So in our experience, the parents or the families do not know that their children are having problems. They just know that they're dead already. Okay. And so they are even very happy, appears to be very active, and then the day after they're dead. Okay. And so one of the explanations for the psychologists is that they have a tendency to be evasive of the real issues of their lives, and they tend to produce a happy front when in fact inside they are actually crying. Alright? And so their families were not able to pick up. How did we know? Because the psychologist said so, the psychiatrist said so, the medical doctor said so. Because the medical doctor said that sometimes when you have a medical condition that limits you from doing what you want, you just want to end it all. And so your explanation of suicide is not based on what you think, but based on the experts. And your role as a researcher is to summarize what they say and then put them in a proper context. That is the one that is my message that is very strong to you today. Alright. So, on the whole, let me put this across to you. Everybody ask this question. Who are the people involved in my research? Go.
Who are the people involved in my research?
If it is only me,
It is only me,
the researcher, and my advisor,
and my advisor.
there are serious issues of quality of my study. There are serious issues of quality of my study. Meaning, my study is not good. Because only I and my advisor are working on it. The brain, my brain and my advisor's brain are not equal to the thesis. That is why I would like to introduce to you the idea, at least write this, quality assurance. Can you write that? Quality assurance of your research. Okay. That's right. Okay. So what I will show you are the things that we usually do. I have already implemented this. One of the quality assurance procedures is, please write this, certificate from the librarian. Certificate from the librarian that you went to the library, discussed with her what you needed, and she gave you what the library has, and then she checks your citations versus your bibliography. So if you are using MLA, is it correct? The librarian will give a judgment. If you're using EPA, the librarian will give a judgment. So the librarian will issue a certificate. Everybody please say this with me. This is a certified that the undersigned librarian has conducted several meetings with the researcher to explore the sources in the library and to check the correctness of the bibliographic entries. That's right. Because you know, I don't know what's happening in Cambodia, but in my country, people don't go to the library anymore. Because they just go directly to the web. But remember, the web is not the only source. There are others. There are films, there are videos, there are encyclopedia, there are so many things in the library. That's one of the important elements that a researcher should do. Okay, have a certification from the librarian that you really explore the resources. So what happens is that the student will give the title of the study, the objectives of the study, And then the librarian will prepare the sources. These are the things that we have for you, other than what you have already found. Okay. Do you accept that? Do you feel the need for the librarian to get involved into your research? Okay. Can you do a research without the library? Oh, so get that? Okay. The second one for quality assurance. Okay. Certificate from your statistician. Yes. A certificate from a statistician is required if your study has statistical data. Okay. What is the yeah. And there are two kinds of people here. The statistician and the data processor. So can you say this? Anyone who can compute data is a data processor. But unless he has degrees and training in statistics, he cannot be called a statistician. Because anybody can just use a computer and then you can produce the percentages. You may not be a statistician. So a statistician is necessary to certify what are the things that you will certify. That the basis of your population and sample are correct. And your sample size computation is right. Okay? Second is that the questionnaire passed the reliability test. Passed the reliability test for item analysis and for the index of reliability. And third, that the quantification of your variables, how your variables are quantified, is also correct. Then fourth, that the statistical measures are appropriate for the kind of data that you have. So he will sign. So meaning during the proposal, the panel is already free of issues on statistics because there is already a person who signed that he has examined that part. Do you understand that? Okay. Then the fourth one was important for quality assurance. Would you like to know the fourth one? Yes. Oh, yun. So yes. Okay. So the fourth one has to do with expert of format and style. Yes. Because every institution has a prescribed format and style. So in the case of my university, the secretary to the dean, who is always present 8 hours a day, was trained to become the expert for format and style. So she would go over and then check on the format, and then once there are mistakes, that these are corrected, and then before they are submitted for oral defense. So during the defense, we don't anymore talk about the format and the style because somebody else corrected that already. Correct? Okay. Next is a human editor. What's his name? A human editor who would be editing not just the English, but the research scientific writing skills. Okay? Can everybody say this? Go. An editor of a research need not be an English major, but precisely must be a good researcher. Because a good researcher knows whether your conclusion is really a conclusion. Okay. Whether you have answered the objectives of the studies one by one, he would be able to know that. But an English teacher will simply look at the grammar, the syntax, would only look at the punctuation, then nothing more. So there has got to be a research editor who will sign that the way you have written is in conformity with the standards of a scientific writing. Alright, get that point? Yeah. Okay. So what's that role? The human editor. Okay. The next one who will sign, who will issue a certificate is about what we call as technology research expert. Okay. What's the name? Technology research expert. Why is technology research expert necessary? Okay, go. He is the one who will test your grammar after the editing to check whether you have underscored and properly addressed your issues. So that's the technology expert for grammar. So he will test using a software. And then the second one is a plagiarism, um, a plagiarism test detector. Is a human being who is going to look at your plagiarism, whether they are acceptable or not. So I would like to give you today internationally accepted standards for this. Okay?
Yes.
For grammar result, it should be at least 90%. Grammar result, 90%. For plagiarism, at least 5% acceptable. 5% acceptable. Okay, and then another one is readability. Readability. Opo. That's a very, very important type of data that a research needs to have. I would like to pause and give you an example of a readability test. Okay, so can you open a new tab? And then you go to this one. Gunning Fat Index. I wonder if you have heard of this. Gunning Ning space FOG FOGOG. Yeah. Gunning Fat Index. And then you click this one. Alright. And then we will find an article, for example, can you scroll down? Okay, can you copy this? Okay, copy, and then go back to Gunning Fat Index. Where is it? Paste. And then calculate. Then it gives you this data. How much? 14.78, which is about 15, right? 15. Okay. What is the meaning of Gunning Fat Index? Okay. Please say this with me. It calculates the number of years of formal schooling required to understand index in one setting. So 15 means 15 years in school. So what is that equivalent to you here? Because in the Philippines you have 12 years of basic education. So that will be 3rd-year college in my country. How about yours? Or about 4th year college, 4th year in the university. How about you? What is the meaning of 15 years?
The 3rd year.
Huh? 3rd year. Okay, similar to ours. Okay, 3rd year. So, meaning if you reach 15, you are finished with college, right? Another master's of 2 years, 17. PhD of 3 years, 20. So go, a doctor, say that. A PhD should have a Gunning Fat Index of 20. Okay. To be really a doctor in the way he writes. Now, if a doctor has a data of 14, so he is a PhD with abilities equivalent to 3rd year high school. Get the point? So everybody say this go. We have to write research that truly aligns with our educational level. Get that? Yeah. So align to educational level. So you are master's degree holder, so you should have at least 15. At least 15. Okay. Or 16, as the case may be. Now, I had a situation where my PhD advisee only had 10. So equivalent only to grade 10. And she was crying. So I said, why should you cry? You celebrate a victory. Why, sir? Because your ability to write is only grade 10, and you will become a PhD. So you got more than what you bargained for, right? So what's the problem there? So this is an example where the school our center, say that, would know if we are plagiarizing our writing. Because if you plagiarize an article of a scientist, which is 20, and you are supposed to only have 14 or 15, but yours is 20, so more likely you had some form of dishonesty, unless of course you are very, very good. Okay? So we can actually check whether the electronic paper, the digital copy, matches with the expected age of the person. Okay? Because if you are third year high college, then you should have that kind of Ganifan index. If it is so way above, it could be the Ganifan index of the writer that you copy. So that's one way to check. Alright?
Something I would like to strictly mention about this. You'll at the name nè. You'll have my
anh nói việc mình không ai ông là cầm thị để mà lý về những đã cho tới nhưng mình thà ta nhưng mình không ai mà thấy về thì những sorry cả nói vì mình phải hàng thà dạ về mà cao xe bỏ dưới cứ chỉ không ai cùng ra cùng má để gường cho nên đây khi là về những cái nói nhưng copy cho tới vì mình phải hai copy the gun for index is cái hồ đôi hàng lớn tập buôn cho trận bài chứ vì đây thay dương riêng nơi sẵn á tập ram năm này cho bật cái tập ram năm vì đây thay dương năm thị bảy chứ mình đây ca tập xe bỏ dưới cứ cùng rất năm thị bảy và ưu cho họ chạy tới nhưng rồi khơi phán mình đây dương riêng ram năm này chứ mình đây thay dương tâm tác là thị ram này
nó bên đây dân trong màn này là rất thì cả xe bao nhiêu nó nhiều gì mình lại như thế dưới cái khách không được lên nè
cùng tay nó lại rác vào hông trong ngay kia rác vào
tu lên đó là tu lên
vào hông lên kia
nó là tu lên có qua lên chưa qua rất thì cả xe bao nhiêu có ăn tận đi thì cả xe bao nhiêu
mà nghe về nói
đây cũng đây qua cũng rất là về việc bình bao nhiêu này được xe trong clear đau vì xe việc thông sắc xa rồi có xe việc nặng lư cũng rất đọng này nữa đây vì hai rồi và anh trong gì vậy công việc này.
So actually there are two, Ganifan index and flash reading keys. Have you heard of that? Flash. Okay. FLESCH. Because as teachers, you need this for diagnostics. FL, that's one. Flash reading. Listening is the other one. Okay. There is a test at the bottom. Let me show you. There is the test here. Can you take this one really, really? Yes. Can you find the test here? Where did you get that one? This one is how easy or how difficult. So the bigger the number, the more easy the article, and the smaller the number, the more easy is it. The more difficult is it to read. So in my country, if the flash reading is very high in terms of number, it would mean that
Just take it easy to read.
Yes, it sounds like hickory dickory dock. 1, 2, tie my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. It's some kind of like a rhyme for the preschool. So there has got to be a way to. This is the one. Same process. You will be able to get the idea of the preceding is and how to interpret it. You just go to Wikipedia. It's the same process because you have to test both. The preceding is how easy or difficult, and the other one is the complexity of writing, which is the previous test that I mentioned. Okay, so that's an example where somebody else has to test that for you so that he will certify. Okay, so in my university we have the standard 12. Pass already, 12. Minimum 12. Oh yes, meaning if you have a Ganifag of 12, but it's already passed. 12. Okay. Yes.
Dạ, nó răng cho nó mùi.
Ok,យើងបង្ហាញ5នាទី
Đi đây vậy.
3កន្លះ
Where is the search box? Can you click the home? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, where is the Lazada?
Nó cũng nói thêm từ kia thay nè, kia
Okay, so you take that. Lazada. Okay. So we will see here.
Nấc má.
So let's see.
Lúc mà nó
Lazada. You try the Lazada
Nó
Coca. Okay. Because it only costs $1. You can even afford it. Okay, so can you search for this one? Grammarly. Grammarly Premium. Grammarly Premium. Oh, how much is this one? $52. 52 pesos is equivalent to $1. Less than $1. $2. See, I didn't even know it. That is why I bought the one $175 because I didn't know that this is found here in this website. I only found this last Sunday. Okay, the other one is Turnitin. Can you type in Turnitin? Turnitin. 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 Okay, Turnitin is the world's most intelligent plagiarism checker. How much? $399. Okay. Do you know how much is Turnitin? Minimum of $5,000. That's how expensive it is, and yet you can have a retail only of 1,500. That is about $30 only, compared to the 5,000. I do not even have a Turnitin account because I didn't know about this yet. But very soon I will be able to buy those. So what is 1,500? And the good point about Turnitin is this. Everybody say this though. Turnitin is the only software that can test for copy-paste due to its patent. But The formula for copy paste is easy, but it's only patented by Trinity. Meaning, can anybody say this? If I copy, and then I write the author at here, that's no longer plagiarism. Because I gave the source. But that is not correct. Because my brain did not do anything. I only copy pasted. So Turnitin will detect that as similarity index. So for example, if your research paper has a similarity index of 50%, it means that if it is 20 pages, 10 pages were merely copied, even with proper author attribution, copied in total, directly. So, Grammarly cannot detect that because it cannot infringe on patent. That is why an educational institution needs to happen. Alright. Only that it is so expensive. But now, you can do it. Very, very cheap. Can you try SPSS? Whether we can have a cheaper, you know SPSS? It's an expensive software. We'll try to see if it sells. So here, how much? $555. And how much is SPSS? $4,000. You can get it here. Oh. Why? My idea is that Turnitin, Lazada purchased the license and then distributes it. Right? That is why you can get it at a much lower rate. Or the second one is probably they were given discount due to volume. Because sales of Grammarly can be restricted. But when it is sold by Lazada, along with blouses, skirts, underwears, and gowns, and shoes, and bags, so it's easy to sell it. So by volume, they can have money. Okay, so do you like this website? lazada.com.ph. Alright. So, very easy because you will not receive a package. You will only be given an email. And that email needs to have activation. And in that email, you are just given a username and a password. Okay? Alright. So, I'll make sure that all of you will be able to utilize this within the week. So that you will know how to manipulate the software. So that when you return home, you will bring the consciousness that we need to have this. Okay, one. That is not already researched now. Meaning expired as a topic. Or second, it is still relevant, but nobody is doing research. Right? So that's the way it goes. Okay? So, up here. Alright. Next. I'd like to show you this one. Audio-visual materials for teaching English. I will remove Cambodia. And then write research gap. Research gap.
Okay.
Okay. So television series, gap. Where are the gaps here? Down, gaps. Okay. Alright. So, there are no articles on gaps here. Gap filler. Very few. Okay. So, which means to say that there are fewer gaps already in that particular topic because it has been well saturated already. So, it can be one reason for doing that. My suggestion is to create a twist. You make a twist so that it becomes more relevant for now. Okay, for example, you focus the use of audiovisual materials in one context. Okay, and then in what In what manner? So you can have more sources here. But these are what you have for Jerusalem areas. And then, can you do research review? Review. Okay. Review. Challenges of using ADR in expedition English. A review of research topics and methodologies. A review of cognitive load factors. A review. So these are the reviews. But the reviews were done 2012, 2008, so old. Okay. So I should say that maybe you need to add more elements into it to make it more current, because the literature is already old for this topic. Okay. Now I'd like to tell you about this research review. What is the purpose of a research review? Okay. There are 4 information from a research review article. Can you write those? Okay, first information. Why do we need to write research reviews, and why do we need to read them first when we do research? Because the first thing that a scientist needs to read is a research review. One information is, it tells us about what is already known. Tells what is already known. So everybody say this?